Our next guest is, he punted the football for the national champion Cougars in 1984 and in the NFL for 18 seasons. The Assistant Development Director over Major Gifts at BYU. Pleasure to welcome Lee Johnson to the Wise Guys. Good to have you here.
Thanks, Dave. How are you, buddy?
We've been working on this. DJ, can we get his mic up? We've been working on this interview for some time, and tonight is finally taking place.
That was my bad.
No,
I dropped the ball.
Sometimes you have stuff going on.
It happens.
Like you're a busy person.
Once in a while, yeah.
We were talking before you came on, and you weren't even here yet, and I said that I'm pretty certain of all former BYU players, you played the most leagues of anyone in the NFL. That's true, right?
I think so.
Is there any player that's ever played at any of the universities in the state of Utah? So I'm talking Southern Utah, Weber, BYU, Utah State, former Dixie, which is now Utah Tech. Has anybody from the state of Utah ever played more seasons than you in the NFL?
Not a chance, Blaine.
So there you go.
No one.
What about
there you go.
What about
Not even
Denny?
close.
How close did Denny come?
John Denny was he 14 years maybe?
Yeah, that's pretty impressive that John played
Very
that
impressive.
major.
Long snapper. Yeah.
And Merlin played. Utah State. Merlin Olsen's a Hall of Famer. He played like 15, 16.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you
exactly.
know what? I think he only played 13. Here's the crazy thing about Merlin.
Back then, they didn't play that long.
He was a Pro Bowler every year in the league.
Phenomenal.
Which is, I think, still a record. I don't know anybody's ever done that every single year in their league for 10 years or more. So
amazing.
He was good. But so there you go. We were right. I was right. I thought Lee played more seasons than any player in the history of college football in the state of Utah.
I don't know that for sure.
I'm saying it.
I'm going to say it too.
So let it be written. Let
it be done.
So I went online and you punted the ball 1,226 times.
My goodness.
In the NFL.
Wow.
So describe the worst conditions, and we teased this out earlier today. Well, the worst conditions you ever had to kick in, and how did it turn out?
Yeah, it didn't turn out great. In college, it was Air Force. I forgot what year,
I'll never forget that.
It was awful.
Snow and wind.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
Yeah, it was
terrible. But the worst by far was Buffalo in December in a massive blizzard. It was the worst experience of my life. I was holding, and just being a punter was bad enough, but we were kicking a game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
To go in to win the game, and it's a couple seconds left, and the ball goes through my hands, and we have to go to overtime, and that was my demise. Bill Belichick, I could not hold on to the ball.
So you were the Patriots at that time, yeah.
Yeah, it was 30-mile-an-hour winds. It was a blizzard, whiteout conditions. And in pregame, I'm having a hard time just catching the snap. I didn't have gloves on, so I go in the fourth quarter to catch the snap for the field goal, and it goes through my hands. We go into overtime, and sure enough, we win the game with a field goal. I got to go out there and do it again, catch this cold ball.
Redemption.
But I was scared to death.
But Bill Belichick never forgave you?
Next year, I got cut. Next year, I got cut against San Diego.
Did you remind him you won the
game? What's that, Dave? I'm sorry.
I said, did you remind Belichick you won that game?
Yeah, we won the game, but he's an interesting guy. It was 5 games in against the Chargers. Brady's first game.
Right.
Bledsoe's bench, Brady's first game. The ball goes through my hands, snaps, hits my helmet, punt gets blocked, and we still win the game, but the next day I'm fired.
Wow.
That was the end of me.
So you were with Brady, but early, before he was even really a player. Did you have any clue that he was going to be that good?
No clue. He came in late round draft choice. Kind of an interesting looking guy. Just came in kind of, most rookies who come in, they just don't feel like they fit, especially a late round guy. First rounders always seem to think they fit.
Yeah.
But, he was my locker partner, right next to me, Brady Locker, and he was just kind of a small, kind of a yokel kind of kid, just coming out and just trying to be a part of something. You didn't realize the fire he had in his belly. This guy, and it'll tell you, when you meet him, he's a wonderful guy. He's super kind, super friendly. But he had something within that was just really impressive, and it obviously showed.
Yeah.
So when you're back there ready to field a punt snap, how much time do you have to catch it and kick it before those NFL guys are on top of you? 2.2
seconds if they're not coming at you. If they're coming full out block, usually 1.9 seconds is what they call the get off time.
Yeah.
1.9.
Yeah. So, it sounds kind of crazy.
What's this term, operational time?
Time, yeah. It's called operational time. From the time to snap to the time of the kick is the op time.
And so you 1.9 if they're coming, 2.2 if they're not coming.
If they're not coming, you want to be off in that. And a lot of it's on the snapper because a lot of snappers are, 0.08. Good ones can be maybe 0.07, so it gives me about, whatever, do the math, 1.2 seconds.
So we're guessing that John Denny was a 0.07.
John was good. John was solid. He could whip it.
You guys never played together, did
you? No. I'm an old man. Well, I'm your age.
That's right. I forget John's
I think I'm older than you, Dave. How old are you, Dave?
I'm younger than both of you.
He's younger than us. You and I are close.
So I just love this picture you're painting. When you're back there and you're ready to get the snap to kick it away, and you see that they are coming.
Yeah.
How does the brain process that?
It's not good for me. I don't like it. I don't like a full man rush. It's especially when the guys are coming off. Usually, but in the NFL, you get the guys, the white guys.
Right.
In college, they don't do that for whatever reason. What do they sometimes?
Because the rules are different about who can release and who can't in college.
Exactly.
Versus...
So a lot of times they'll double press the wide guys in the NFL. You know you got plenty of time, but when they start creeping in or they're singles, and you know usually they're coming. And also you know by the team. The Oilers always came crazy.
See, in the NFL, the only guys that can run down until the ball hits your foot are the outside guys.
Right.
The eligible guys.
Very different. Right. Yeah.
In college, everybody can go.
Everyone. That's why the rugby style in college would never work in the pros.
Oh, no,
because they have to wait till the ball goes.
Right. Never work.
Yeah, very different. Would not work.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, you played for the Oilers, Browns, Bengals, Patriots, Vikings, and Eagles. Which NFL experience was the best?
Can I say one thing? Yeah. You missed one.
Wait, I'm going to get it.
Browns,
I'm going to get it.
Bengals,
if you can get
Patriots,
it.
Browns,
Vikings,
Bengals, Patriots, Vikings, and Eagles.
Buffalo Bills for 1 week.
Right.
For 1 week? Come on.
I got 1 week, one game. They left me at home. They played at the Raiders. And it was in December. They brought me in to kick off. Yeah, they brought me on. They released me. So
in 1 week.
In 1 week.
All right. So what of all those, including the Bills? I'm gonna assume the Bills isn't gonna make this list. What was the best experience?
Best experience was the Oilers was home. I lived there. It was a wonderful experience. The best experience was Cincinnati.
Really?
That's where I raised most of my kids, the family. Played the longest. Phenomenal city.
You guys were really good then too.
We were terrible. We were terrible in 80.
At the end, you were good, weren't you?
The 90s were the worst era of professional football. We lost more. I'm the losingest player in the NFL because of the 90s at the Bengals. I came in 87. I came in 88, went to the Super Bowl. So my first year we go to the Super Bowl.
You got the end of it, is what you're saying.
87, 88, 89, 90 were very good.
That's when, and you had Jason there with you.
Jason Buck,
and Leon was with you.
Leon was there as well, yeah.
So
we actually had two teammates from our teammates were with you there.
Exactly. Phenomenal time.
So 88 was your Super Bowl year?
Super Bowl year.
You punt 63 yards. It stands as the longest punt in NFL history up until Johnny Hecker booted a 65-yarder in 2012.
Beats me by 2 yards. And I missed the game. Was it 2012?
Yeah.
Was it really?
For Hecker,
So it held for a while.
Yeah.
For the Rams,
and it's really weird because 63 yards every year, 63 yards is just an average punt. Still 80, 85 would be the longest. But since it's one game a year, then I guess it held. I was shocked.
Oh,
yeah. It rolled. Don't forget it rolled.
Oh, it did?
And another key thing happened in that play. Both of you guys probably don't know. I'm going to trivia here. Another record was set. Actually, two records were set. The longest return in Super Bowl history. John Taylor took it almost to the house.
Oh, wow.
And 2 Super Bowl records were set in one play.
So wait,
that was your kick that he returned?
My longest Super Bowl kick
picked it up and ran up for a touch?
Was returned by the longest, return was the longest return in Super Bowl history.
Why didn't you go tackle him?
I tried, and it's not pretty. Go on YouTube right now and type it in, and it's the ugly. Don't do it right now, please. It's hideous, completely awful.
DJ,
no kidding?
No, I'm just kidding. No, we're not going to do that.
Terrible.
So your record-setting
comic relief if you want to do it.
I didn't. The rest of the sentence wasn't there when I was reading it.
Yeah.
The record-setting kick was followed by a record-setting return
on the same play. So
is the Super Bowl? Is playing in the Super Bowl the coolest thing?
The coolest thing. It was unbelievable. It was in Miami. And that was a day when Donald Trump was big, Christy Brinkley, Billy Joel.
Sure.
This was before Donald Trump was the president. He was just Donald Trump.
Yeah, he was Donald Trump.
He was like, you're fired. He was that guy.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember on pregame just having Billy Joel and Christy Brinkley, were married at the time, right behind me.
Oh, man.
In my pregame, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Yeah. Just the whole experience. It was larger than life. It really was.
And the whole week leading up to it's larger than life.
Larger than life,
What was that like?
It was a crazy time because that was when, if you don't remember, Stanley Wilson, our starting fullback, went missing the night before the game.
That's right.
He was, we started, Sam Weiss started, normally you just start your team meeting the night before the game. You start the team meeting, you don't worry about anything. You're late, you don't show up, you get fined. Sam was not about to start this meeting. So he goes to Stanley's room and knocks on the door, no one answers, goes in the room and they find Stanley in the bathroom and he's consuming drugs. Yeah. And he takes off and he goes missing for 3 days in Miami.
I remember seeing that on
I forgot
HBO.
That was huge that week. I remember that now.
I know. It's a crazy night, crazy time. Stanley Will, a great player out of Oklahoma. Yeah, it's rough. I have no idea how he's doing now. But
the Oilers drafted you in the 5th round.
5th round.
You don't see many punters that drafted that high these days, which means they had a lot of respect for you. You had a great collegiate career, but when they call you in the 5th round, are you surprised?
I was surprised. 13 rounds back then also. Now we go 7 rounds, and I was the 3rd punter chosen. Dale Hatcher and Greg Montgomery
Neither of which played 18 seasons in the NFL.
They did not.
By the way.
No. They didn't. They didn't
Or the
come
Super
close.
Bowl.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
No, they
maybe.
did not.
Nah, I don't know if they did or not.
So you get a call for the 5th round, and you're like, hey, there's a
I'm
lot
at
of
home.
quarterbacks
Yeah,
who haven't gone.
Totally. Yeah, I was shocked. They liked the fact that I could kick off. They liked the fact that I could back up, kick. I was a triple threat.
Right.
Yeah.
And I could hold. So it was a nice bonus. Paul Brown, and when Cincinnati loved that about me. The late Paul Brown. That's why they really liked me at Cincy, because I could kind of take care of two positions.
They don't have to pay
And
for
you-
another guy.
Yeah.
You punted
exactly.
barefooted in college.
I did.
Could you punt barefoot in the pros?
I did 2.5 years. I did, and as an Oiler, I did.
Because I remember you not at the end. What happened
Yeah,
with
I
that?
put it on. I went from Cincinnati, the Oilers, to Cleveland,
Oh, yeah,
which was a
you're in
nightmare.
Cleveland and
Kept
like
my
half the
shoe on.
season's in the snow.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and I realized at that time that I had to put a shoe on. It was just too difficult. When you get late in the season, it gets wet and cold,
Yeah.
and the foot, you just slip. So going into Cincinnati, I made the transition. They
Yeah.
brought me into Cincinnati to kick off. That's it. And then when I got there, I put my shoe on, and I actually did quite well. And I beat out the kicker, the punter, the current punter,
Right.
and I was able to play that year in the Super Bowl.
So my wife has a question for you, because we were looking at the picture we posted on social media to promote your
Yeah.
interview
Oh, boy.
of you punting the ball without a shoe on or
Yeah.
a sock on. And she's like, what is he doing? Why is he kicking with it without a shoe on? And I go, well, that's how he always did it.
Yeah.
Well, why do some kickers choose to do that?
Yeah,
Why'd you?
I'm from Texas, and kickers back then did it. Russell Lurkslavin, Tony
Yeah,
Franklin,
I
the
remember
two
Russell,
guys from
yeah.
Texas, and A&M and Texas Longhorns, they both did it, and I did it before I came to BYU. In college, in high school, I had a shoe on. Right before I went to BYU, I took my shoe off for punting only, and I did it, and I went into the fall camp in August as a freshman, and I was killing the ball.
What's the difference?
It's like drop a basketball on carpet or drop a basketball on concrete. What you get a better reaction off
Really?
concrete.
And your foot, when you do it barefoot and you're practicing that way, it toughens up and gets
Totally.
calloused.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like,
no, it doesn't hurt. And it never was cold. It was more just a slipping effect. That's why I put my shoe back on.
Yeah.
But no, you can kill the ball. You have a less sweet spot because the shoe's a little bit bigger. So I was more consistent with a shoe on. But I could hit bombs barefoot.
Hey, we used to just watch him in practice. Like everybody would just stop and start. When he got going, we'd just be watching it. I remember one time standing next to Mike Holmgren, and we were just watching, and we stopped playing catch, getting ready because we didn't do much to warm up.
Yeah.
And then he just went, "That's ridiculous."
Wow.
Mike did.
It was fun. I loved it. You get those hot days in August. It was great.
I want to ask you, but so you had a great career at BYU, and we have friends that will be our friends forever and ever.
Yeah.
Played for a national championship at BYU.
Amazing.
Like, what are the differences between playing at a high level in college football, winning a national championship, and then your experience in the NFL?
You know what? I noticed that since I was able to play in a national championship team in college, in a NFL or a Super Bowl team in the pros, it's culture, it's system, it's everyone seems to buy in. You really have, it's very unique. The close-knit, you think about our 84 team and how close we were, and you think about the 88 Bengals and how close we were, and it's so similar. Not only do you have a great system, you got great players, of course, but you have to have a great culture and everyone buying in. And that's what we had in both scenarios. And I think it's critical. And I think culture wins championships.
And you played for teams in the NFL that weren't good.
A lot of teams that weren't good.
And so, was that the single missing piece?
Well, you got to have good players. You got to have good coaching. And the 90s in the Bengals was awful. It was really bad. And we went through, 4 or 5 coaches. We could not find a quarterback. We went through
Gotta have a
Klinglers.
quarterback.
And we had quarterback issues the whole time. And we just didn't have a system. We didn't have anything set. And the old Bengals did. Sam Weiss was around. They had an established offense. They had Boomer Esiason, the 84 Cougars. We had, obviously, Robbie Bosco and the great system. And it just goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Former BYU and NFL punter Lee Johnson is on the Wise Guys tonight, and we're so grateful to have him with us. Who nicknamed you Thunderfoot?
Thunderfoot. I don't know who nicknamed me. It just happened. And
Somebody has to be an
You know
origin
what?
to
He
that
didn't
story.
start your own. He didn't start his own. Somebody does that, and then you just own it.
I
right?
just would say Thunder lived, but no, it was I think the media did. And they put me in, what was the old magazine, BYU Sports Magazine
Yeah.
they had? And they had me a big rollout of Thunderfoot and that whole
was
thing.
it?
Yeah, I think that might have been how it started. But it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Well, it's kind of cool.
I thought it was great. I love
Thunderfoot.
it. I still go by
Who
it.
comes up with that?
Still
My
goes
wife still
by it?
calls me Thunder. Hey, babe, say Thunder, come in.
What's the longest?
I like that she calls him baby too. I
yeah,
like that too.
that is true. What's the
Shelly
longest?
calls him baby. Shelly, is this true?
What's the longest punt Thunderfoot has done?
In the pros, I hit a 80. So we're playing at the Raiders Stadium. I'm backed up on the end line, and I hit a bomb that I even was blown away. It went 80 yards, and it went out of bounds. The longest punt was same thing, Wyoming and Wyoming.
Oh yeah.
I'm backed up.
When you hit one like that, do you even feel it hit your
You
foot?
don't feel it.
It's just like,
It's like a
so
golf. Yeah,
pure,
no.
you don't even feel
Really?
it.
It was bombs away. I could have had the longest, I don't know what the longest punt was. It was 82, and it went out of bounds in the air and landed maybe on the track in the old Wyoming Stadium. It could have been 95. I don't know. That was my longest ever. And it was really
at 7,000
cool.
feet, and you hit it.
It was outrageous. I loved it.
I want to know if the longest kickoff. I think I know what the longest kickoff you ever had was, but I want to see if he remembers this. What do you think the longest kickoff you ever hit in your career was?
The longest kickoff? Well, I would try to put it in the stands, but I usually just get it right and hit the wall. So that'd be 20 deep. But we were from the 40 back then.
Yeah. So I'm going to remind you of one to see if you remember this, because you told me something before the game. We were playing at New Mexico in Albuquerque, which is elevation as well. And the wind was blowing like crazy out of the one end zone. There were open end zones down there. And ESPN was doing the game, and they had a scissors truck behind the goalpost. Behind the goalpost, like 10 yards behind the goalpost to get end zone shots.
Yeah.
And you said, I'm going to hit that guy before this night is over. I'm like, on a kickoff? And you're like, yeah, I'm going to hit that guy. The guy was 10 yards behind the end zone, 20 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Minding his own business.
And Lee hit him on a kickoff.
I bounced it off his forehead.
Yes, he hit the camera, dude. And you had a nice wind, and it was at elevation.
It was,
But I'm saying that had to be your longest
That had to be. Now that you bring it up.
Just imagine if that was in BYU in LaVell Edwards Stadium. That thing would have been 30 rows up.
It would have been bombs
it was
away
bombs
for sure.
away.
Yeah, that was fun. Altitude was phenomenal. Kicking the elevation.
You were quoted as saying, "Everything that is dear to me I found while I was attending school here."
Yeah.
Expound on that. What were you referring to?
The 4 F's: friends, family, finances. Friends, what were they?
Was
Football.
it fun?
Football
Fun
was
in
there.
there?
Football. It was
Faith.
Faith. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I came to BYU kind of as just a Mormon, but not super Mormon. Yeah. So I really found myself there. And of course, found my wife there, and
Friends, family, faith,
all
and
my
finance.
friends and finance, because I became a football player. So my 4 F's out of BYU. Yeah, it was my experience at BYU was off the charts. I came from Texas. Active family, but not really an active. I didn't go on a mission, so I just wasn't prepared for what was going on. When I was going home my freshman year, everyone was going on a mission. I was like, where is everyone going and why?
Yeah.
So just a different mindset. It was really weird. But everything great and near and dear to me, I got at BYU, and BYU continues to this day, working there for my 10th year now. I watch it change lives dramatically. It's amazing to watch these athletes come in and then leave and see how their lives have changed. It's beautiful to see.
Do you remember the time frame when that settled in on you, where you realized, I'm different now?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. When I met when Shelly.
We met Shelly.
Yeah. I realized at that time it was time to grow up and get serious about just life and just the role I need to play as a potential husband, father. And I got serious about, I finally got my patriarchal blessing and just became ordained an elder. Can we talk like this on the show?
Yeah,
Of course
this show
we can. Wise guys, baby.
This is our show. We do whatever we want.
Yeah, you better believe it. So yeah, it got real at that point, and it was really cool to see just what comes from that when you make that commitment, and make that desire to change and commit and take on some things. It was beautiful.
Shelly's folks and my folks are dear friends forever and ever.
So Captain Kirk, is he watching? I love Captain.
Captain Kirk's watching. He's watching tonight for sure. Jim just said hello to him, so he'll love that you're calling out my dad. Shelly, I know that Shelly felt about Lee the same way Brenda felt about me. Like, he's really fun, he's really funny, and it's funny how those girls, like, you meet him and you're like, wait a minute, I don't want to just be fun and funny.
Yeah.
There needs to be more depth to me, and they have a way of shaping us up, don't they?
They do, and
Shelly did, right?
Yeah, oh, for sure. But the first thing she said on the show before I left is, "Don't say anything stupid. Don't be dumb. Be serious." So she's still riding me, and I do. I get a little carried away once in a while, but no doubt, they bring out the best.
Did Shelly ever say, "Lee, could you play in another position other than punter? Could you be the quarterback?"
No, she never did.
She never did.
She loves her kicker. Come on. Kicker's a quarterback.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Brenda and Shelly knew that they could make something better
for
out
sure.
of us than what
You
we
better
were,
believe it.
So that's for sure.
This is great.
Hey, let me ask you. Let's ask him a couple of current events, and we're going to get back to last few.
Oh man, current
Lee
events.
Johnson with us. So Caleb Lohner announces today that he's going to go to the U and try to be a tight end.
Yeah.
I would think you should come here and play
late in the
tight end.
stage.
Yeah.
We know he's a tremendous athlete because he's always been that way. But can you just go figure it out in one fall camp and do it?
Man, that's tough. Great athletes, maybe they can. The position might warrant that, because if you just say, hey, get in the three-point stance and go run a route and then we'll throw the ball to you, yeah. But it's hard to say. At the pro level, I don't know. We got the guy that got drafted in the pros who never played, rugby player. Now he's a lineman. So maybe great athletes can transition.
You remember Manny Hendricks that played basketball at TU, went and played for a bunch of years with the Cowboys, right?
You're right.
So it's not, it hasn't happened very often. But interestingly, our first guest, Brody Kozlowski, for the last 3 or 4 years, major college football programs have been saying to him, listen, and he's grown a little bit more. He's like 6'8" now, but you're 6'6", 6'7", you're 230, and you're crazy athletic. We don't know if you're an NBA guy or not. You might be. We think you're a bona fide NFL tight end. Come play tight end.
Wow.
So when guys are that size and that length and they're really athletic, I mean, Caleb's the prototypical body type for an NFL tight end.
Totally.
But you don't know if he has the skill set.
You hadn't been over the middle for a while.
No, he hadn't been popped yet.
Yeah, but he sure looks like an NFL tight end.
What a Tyson say.
Wish him the best. The Arizona Bowl got a new sponsor today.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg.
It's called
Snoop's a sponsor?
The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, presented by Gin and Juice. First bowl game sponsored by an alcohol brand. CW's got the game, Mountain West and the MAC.
But in my mind, on my money, and my money on my mind.
Is Snoop Dogg going to still?
That's not Snoop's song.
I couldn't tell you one Snoop Dogg song, guys.
Is Snoop Dogg going to still be in that bowl game in 3 years from now?
I have no idea. But he built a brand, though. There's no doubt he got a brand.
Snoop is 1, 2, 3. And to the,
No. Wait.
Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre.
Here we go. Well, I'll bump with you.
Yeah. No, it's like 1, 2, 3.
One,
and to the
two,
funk.
three.
Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the stump.
Yeah. Love it.
Well,
I wish I could add on to it.
Well, you know it. It ain't nothing but a G thing.
Baby.
Yeah,
baby.
Yeah, that's it.
I think
This show just went to the next level.
Yes, it did.
So I got to write it in.
Austin, how will you say this guy's name? Lealusa?
Yeah, the new commit to BYU.
Commit from Southern Utah, 6'5", 310, offensive lineman.
Wow.
Calls BYU his dream school.
Wow.
Will help on that O-line. How do you feel about the O-line?
They're young. I think we went through some great players. It's you got to have a great O-line to have a great team. So I think we've got. It's great to have that.
Connor
addition.
Pay was on the show not long ago.
Yeah.
He gives you some veteran.
I think that helps.
The day before the show, I just ran in. When I was out, I ran into Caleb Etienne.
Yeah.
He was out with Jacob Robinson. They both look good. Jacob's put on some weight. Caleb looks in great shape.
Yeah.
He's really confident. He feels like they've moved him to left tackle. He feels like TJ's really helped him understand the offense and what he's supposed to do. I look for him to have a phenomenal senior year at that left tackle.
I sure hope so. I know that there might a new coach, maybe a new style, a new system, a way to get guys fired up. But Caleb, he needs to step up. We brought him in to be an impact player, so he needs to step up. He knows it too.
Yeah.
So it's you have to be determined though. We need to be good there.
Yeah, we have to be good on that offensive line. BYU, we haven't talked about this, but we want to touch on it for just a minute. You help coordinate all the major gift donations on campus. What does that entail? Like, what's your day-to-day, and what are you trying to accomplish there?
The whole idea is finding people who love the brand of BYU, who want to build the brand of BYU and make it great. And most of our donors, if not all of our donors, love the game, they love the brand. They want to be fans. They want to go to games. They want to be season ticket holders. Once in a while, you'll get guys who they like Lee Johnson, so they're going to give you a few bucks to help out the program. But most of the time, it's guys who love the brand and want to see great things come of it. And they're already giving. It's a natural. They already give tithing. It's a beautiful transition. It's really mind-blowing to think they're giving what they give in tithing in fast offerings. And now we come out, and they got other philanthropic endeavors. Right. And now we come to them, and yet we continue to blow it out. It's beautiful to see.
Cougar Club has got a variety of levels for membership, and we've talked about that for years. We've lived that for years. But this is different for you. You're after these are folks giving serious cash. How valuable is that to a program? How needed is it?
It wouldn't happen if we didn't have the donors. Right. And I know there's the widow's mite, and there's the guys that really come and deliver, and we got to have both of them. And it's you got to have it, especially this day and age. Even though we are with a new Power 5 and we're making a lot more money, the expenses that come with it, and it just continues to get bigger and bigger. So we would not be able to function without donations. There's no doubt about it. And we do not take tithing dollars. It's all separate. So that's what's really beautiful about it.
All right, one other question I have, and because you're good at this and you can answer, when you're sitting down in front of a family and they are considering a big gift for BYU, and you've got to close it. because that's what you do. Is it a scenario of you telling them how much you would like them to give, or do they look at you and say, how much do you need?
Yeah, I rarely ask. I invite. I let them know what we're doing. I let them know what our needs are. And they typically just come through. And in a way, you kind of have to be careful in a way. And I've always said it, man, that the church and the prophet and those who speak have to be careful what they ask, because they'll give. They'll give. And it's similar in a way when there's a need in athletics. So, but most of the time we invite, we want to be able to offer something, an experience. We want to have them come in and experience the beauty of BYU, what it does, the impact it has on the athletes. And when they see that, when they experience that, then they have a desire to give, and sometimes give even more. So that's what we hope to accomplish.
That's great.
And to compete in this league, you have to have financial resources to be able to compete. You really do.
It's really unfortunate that is required when there's so many other needs with everywhere else out there, and you think, oh, we're going to give for athletics or whatever. But as far as building the brand, the people that know about BYU and that know about the church, athletics plays a massive role. When I was out playing in all my 18 years, they knew about Mormonism and the church and BYU through athletics. So I think we have a huge impact to have and be really driven to have a great athletic program at BYU.
And there's more impact when they're winning, and they're more visible when they're
Very
winning.
much.
Like,
Yeah.
So here they go into year 2. First year, a little bit of growing pains moving in. Had some games that could have gone either way, that could have made a difference, and they could have gotten to a bowl. So what's your expectation as they make this jump into year 2? What would you label success this year?
Yeah, well, what I did like, we competed. Although we did get blown out in
Couple of games.
couple games, we did not
Seems
show
like we
up.
competed better than like
West Virginia,
Texas, Oklahoma, and Texas. They played well. Oklahoma
Even
State.
Texas, though, until the fourth quarter, Oklahoma State. It's like we compete. We're able to compete. So I like the schedule, more favorable this year. Would you agree? Seems more favorable to us.
Definitely.
So I can definitely see 6 and 7 maybe, but we got to show up. Look, we got to execute. We got to play. I hate those phrases because it's so generic, but you really do. We've got the athletes, we got the players, we got the system. Can we execute? Can we show up week after week? And that's the biggest difference with being in the Big 12 versus independent. You got to show up week after week. So
we could show up 3 times. We had 4 to 5 games a year that we could just kind of show up and win.
Yeah, and we have a couple this year where we should not have a problem.
Right.
But for the most part, we got to show up and deliver.
We had more. The people are like, "Oh, you guys won 11 games every year." I'm like, "Yeah, we didn't play this schedule."
Yeah.
Right.
It's true. Big time.
Who are you starting at quarterback on August 31st?
I think Jake. He's got the edge. He's a fiery guy. He's a gunslinger. I like the way he plays. It's all ball control. It's all just not turn the ball over.
Right.
Can't turn the ball over. I think he's dynamic. It seems to be a great leader. I don't know much about the other fellas, but going in, you have to go with Jake initially going in, unless something happens in fall camp and things change. But yeah, I like him.
And they have some of these people are like, "Well, why'd they bring these guys in?" And I'm going, Hillstead's got 3 years left. Bourget has 3 years.
Yeah.
So some of these transfers they brought in are for the future.
Yeah.
And the future may come quick if something happens. But they have a bunch of quarterbacks, but they have some guys with some eligibility.
Yeah.
Not Gary and Jake. Jake's got 2 left.
He got 2 left.
Yeah.
So I wrote an article in the Desert News last week on this notion of growing quarterbacks versus going to the store and shopping for them. And the portal has changed that.
Yeah.
And we just saw Ryder Burton, who was a homegrown guy for whatever reason. He's in the portal, and we go to the portal, and we get Hillstead, who was another homegrown guy, but he started at Utah State. Do you think that that is the way that BYU will go? That's not the way BYU's been successful, but the game has changed so much where you can spend all the time in the world growing your own tomatoes, or you can just go to the store and buy 5 of them.
Yeah, that's what bums me out the most. I really do.
Think about the guys that we played with. You and I played with Jim McMahon, Steve Young, and Robbie Bosco.
Yeah.
And none of them actually were the guy until their junior year.
Yeah. Here's the problem. You get a kid who's phenomenal coming out, 5-star, 4-star, whatever.
Yeah.
He wants to start. If he doesn't start, he's frustrated. What does he do? He bails. Let's say he starts, plays 1 year. What happens? He bails because he gets more money. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare scenario. So the days of that freshman coming in, to me, you're almost better off getting a junior who you have to pay a few bucks to and hope he'll play 2 years for you before you got to go back out shopping again. Yeah. It's a situation I don't like. I do not like. I love NIL. I love the fact that you can make money off of NIL. Collective, to me, is a bogus.
Can you imagine what Jimmer Fredette made.
Oh,
Would have made.
Big money.
If it was today when Jimmer was playing, going into his senior year when he came back, oh my goodness.
Crazy.
Millions.
We got to do something about the collective, though, guys. It's not NIL. Maybe you guys can prove me wrong, but how does that benefit? How does that offer anyone in NIL? No one's benefiting from it. No company's benefiting from it. It's a whole, to me, it's just a workaround thing that was created that, to me, that's the problem with, if Lee's Tire Shop all day long pay players to come, rep the brand, do their thing, you pay them, cut them a check. What's the collective? It's just, hey, come play, here's your check. Good luck. Yeah. What else are they going to do? It frustrates me that has become what it's all about, and that to me is ruining the game. So I'm hoping going forward something happens.
Yeah, and I think we were talking, I was talking to a coach. Oh, it's somebody, I shouldn't say who it is, but anyhow, he was just like, there's more controls in the NFL and in the NBA. Like there's a draft, there's salary caps, it's just a free for all in college football right now, and they have to put some structure to it. He's like, I'm all about getting the players money. They deserve a share of it. Sure. But if there's no controls around it, then Miami can go and say to a 17-year-old freshman high school kid, we'll pay $1.8 million a year to come down. You've never played a college game, pay $1.8 million a year. And then he goes down there and they give him his 1.8, but he doesn't like it, and then he transfers to the team that pays him $2 million next year. Like that doesn't even happen in pro sports.
No, it doesn't.
So there's got to be some. I love the idea of these guys sharing in the revenue. There's got to be some structure around it, or it's going to ruin competition.
Figure it out. Let's just get it done.
Think how fast it's happened. I mean, just a couple of years ago, we had Jaron Hall backing up Zach Wilson and waiting for his chance to play. They're both in the NFL. That feels like it was yesterday because it kind of was.
I know.
And now it feels so far away from when you had two NFL guys on your roster playing quarterback.
Hey, they just gave Reggie Bush his Heisman Trophy back because they realized how ridiculous it looks. Because what he got, like walk-ons get right now.
Yeah. Right? That's crazy. Crazy stuff. You ready for 5 questions?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Okay,
Lee Johnson's here with us on the Wise Guys.
So, no, these are easy.
Are they the same ones that I just heard, or are they different?
There's some the same. We have a couple.
But it's all you.
You guys are trying to embarrass me, aren't you?
Your favorite sports movie?
Oh, come on. Remember the Titans.
Yes.
I know everyone's heard it.
That's mine. So you don't have to.
It's good.
It makes you cry.
You don't have to agree with him and Marie Osmond on Hoosiers.
Hoosiers are great.
Don't diss Hoosiers.
Yeah, your favorite singer band.
Hoosiers are the best.
And I'm guessing it's not Snoop.
Singer band.
Well, Michael Jackson. Are you kidding me? Not even close. Rock and roll Boston.
Yeah. What about Shelley's?
Shelley? Oh, wow. You're putting me on the spot hard right now because she's listening.
MJ.
You should know this.
No, it wouldn't be, and I should know it. I'm going to have to pivot real fast.
You don't know Shelley's?
She likes... Ooh, man.
Brenda's Tim McGraw all the way. No, I got to say this though.
Babe, I love you dearly.
Brenda also loves Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi and Tim McGraw.
You asked me that question.
Listen, I just thought it was just going to fly out. We'll come back to that.
She's going to text me real quick.
Hey, Shelley,
it's like Journey or something. That Journey.
Yeah, she loves Journey.
Lee doesn't know your favorite band. Just saying. So.
Boy, okay. Billy Joel.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Billy Joel. I love you, babe.
Okay.
I'll sing you a song.
Yeah. She's always a woman to me.
We need a piano in here.
Woman to me.
Okay.
Lee and I used to sing in the locker room. Your favorite breakfast cereal?
Oh, Frosted Flakes. But I'm trying to go.
You're trying to be healthy.
Frosted, the all-American cereal made from golden wheats.
What is that?
Frosted mini wheats.
Frosted.
Huh. Interesting.
Do you know that Danny Ainge told us he eats just the, like not frosted mini wheats, like just regular shredded wheat.
Michelle makes
shredded wheat. Yeah, I used to eat that. Love that.
You have to put 5 tablespoons of sugar on it to make it taste decent.
Remember that? They came in biscuits and you would crunch them up.
Like my thing on that is why not just go over in the yard and just start eating grass?
All I know is
might as well.
You can leave here and drive past that pasture down there. They're eating shredded wheat.
They're eating shredded wheat. Just eat it. Like if you're not going to put the frosted on it, forget it. So
shredded wheat.
Your favorite punt in your career?
Oh, my favorite punt in my career. Well, Super Bowl record was a great punt, but it rolled. So
there's nothing wrong with a rolling punt.
There isn't, but the biggest bomb was I was with the Patriots after I got released by Cincinnati.
Okay.
I go back to Cincinnati.
Here we go. Yeah,
it's the brand new stadium.
Punt. This is the revenge punt.
This is the new stadium. I feel bad or badly, one of the two, for saying what I said. The reason why I got released, you may be.
Oh, yeah,
I remember it.
You said some stuff.
It was ugly. It was really ungrateful of me. So I went and talked to the management right before the game. But in that game.
But hey, just to make a long story shorter, some things were said about how the team was being run.
Yes.
After years of being on a lousy team.
Yeah, 11 years of being lousy. We're
So
0
now-
and
so now
whatever.
you're back with
yeah,
another
now
team.
I'm back. I get released. I come back to play the first time in the new stadium, and I pop an 80-yarder, and it was heavenly. It was wonderful.
And you ran off the sideline
I
feeling
was
what?
feeling pretty good.
And you
yeah.
had one of those one-bar helmets
I
too,
did.
right?
What an embarrassing
Why
thing.
did you do that?
It was
You
an
know what?
exclamation
No,
point.
by then I had a double bar.
You'd had
my
a
early
double one?
days, yeah, it was just what they did. It's what kickers did. Yeah.
We grew up. We grew up as Cowboy fans. We did not like Billy Kilmer. The lone reason was
Single
his
bar.
one-bar
Sonny
helmet,
Jurgensen.
and then Theismann came after that with a one-bar.
Yeah.
We just hated
And
it.
the problem with me for Billy Kilmer and Sonny Jurgensen was they
Their
were
whole
really, really
faces
good.
out
They were
there.
both like 45 pounds overweight playing quarterback in the NFL. It's like, come on.
The
believe
one
that?
bar.
Yeah.
Did Chaffetz
It
try
was
to do the
hideous.
one bar?
Did
he have it?
I don't know if he did not. His helmet was never on long
No,
enough.
yeah. Did he? I can't remember.
I used to try to convince people. I play quarterback. Quarterback has to have really great athletes. Well, what about Billy Kilmer and Sonny Jurgensen? Yeah, you're right. Never mind.
All right, Patriots was the favorite punt.
Your favorite BYU moment ever?
Oh, man.
It doesn't even have to be football.
Well,
it can be anything.
I think my favorite BYU moment was SMU. Clay Brown. McMahon Clay Brown.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
where were you when that
I
happened?
was playing in the game. I was kicking off. I kicked the onside kicks in that game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Had two successful. One, I was an embarrassment. But yeah, I was a freshman.
So are you on the 30-yard line? What you're watching hit the Hail Mary? What was your vantage point?
Yeah, I was on the side, the 30-yard line on the side of the field. That was the play was caught. The ball was caught.
Oh, nice.
And it was crazy. Yeah. Did you watch the game?
I was 12. We're at a Deacon's Corn party.
You were 12.
Did you
Absolutely.
witness? Did you witness Lavelle trying to send the punt team out when Jim said no, we're not punting?
I saw it, but I didn't witness the verbiage,
I would
which you
like
probably
to-
did.
I would like to have heard that.
So when that ball's mid-flight, and we Blaine was there for that one too, but we were at the Nebraska one in the end
Oh,
zone.
yeah.
I was there on the inline.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
that's
ball's
right. You were right across the field from
Right
us.
there.
ball's in flight, and we're talking to ourselves, going, "Man, this stuff never happens to us except for that one time." And then Matthews caught it, and we had another time.
What was that?
So the ball's in the air in San Diego, and Clay Brown's down there. Are you thinking we even got a shot?
No. Well, and we had scored 3 touchdowns in 2.5 minutes.
It's crazy, and people forget. Like, didn't Bills block a punt too, Shefflin?
They did.
Yeah.
Like everything that had to happen happened. It was nuts.
It was remarkable. That was back when we were never out of a game, ever.
No.
We were always in games.
That's back when if the other team happened to score to go up by 5, and we looked up the scoreboard and like, are they idiots?
Yeah.
They just left 2:10 on the clock. We'll win for sure now.
It's amazing.
Like you just thought, oh.
It was so fun.
If we're within a score of winning and there's 2 minutes on the clock, we will never lose a game ever.
So
That's just what we believed.
Years
So true,
later,
you're right, belief.
I'm a sports anchor in Vegas, and Ron Meyer is a casino host at Arizona Charlie's.
Oh, wow.
Ron Meyer.
Ron Meyer, and I
SMU
go
Ron
over.
Meyer.
SMU after they got
SMU's
the
Ron
death
Meyer.
penalty.
Who recruited me?
I go. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. I go to his office. We're doing a story. He was involved with, I think, the Las Vegas Wranglers of the USFL, of the Canadian Football League. Anyway, I'm in his office, and he's got a team picture of that team up there. There's 79-80
Yeah, that's
SMU team with
Eric
Dickerson
Dickerson
and James,
Craig James, and that whole crew.
Anyway, and so
Pony Express.
I'm sitting there looking at him, and I, of course, have to ask. I go, "Hey, remember that one time?" And then he knew I was a BYU guy. He said, "That was the worst night of my life." He goes, he was mad that somebody thought was a fumble. It wasn't a fumble, and it wasn't getting called, this and that. And he goes, "But then we just blew it."
Wow. And he is the reason why they got the death penalty, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Dickerson
Him and his guys.
The crew.
I mean,
Yeah. Did he ever come back
do you
after
wanna
that?
know- here's the funny thing.
We're playing him. Did he come back?
Did
or
Meyer, was he done coaching after that?
I think he was. I think his last run was with the Las Vegas team in the Canadian.
He was done with
Football
college.
League.
I will
pretty
say
sure.
this though,
Yeah.
all the
I don't-
stuff that he
no
was
one's
doing
hiring
with
him back.
Dickerson
Yeah.
and all those guys, that'd be nothing compared to right now in NIL.
Right now, it'd be going. This is all.
Yeah.
It's NIL.
Yeah.
Here's what we have to,
get
Ron
the-
Myers, Jerry Tarkanian with
Tarkanian would be a
UNLV.
hero.
Yeah.
They were just ahead of their time. They were just ahead of their time.
They've been brown bagging for
I mean,
years.
Jerry remember. I mean, did we remember those days? Dave was, he was assembling the best teams money could buy, but it just wasn't legal back then.
Jerry was
legal
amazing.
now.
It is.
He always, if he ever comes back from the dead,
Was
the
he a cool
first thing
guy?
he's going to do
That
is
one UNLV
he was always
team-
nice to me.
Was he?
That one
Always nice to me.
UNLV team had. We always say, hey, if you got 2 NBA guys on a team, like you can win a national title. I think all 5 of the starting 5 on that UNLV team started in the NBA at one time.
Remarkable. Yeah.
At least 4 did. At least 4. And then Anderson Hunt might have. He came back a year later.
I think Anderson, but if you think about it, it was Greg Anthony, Anderson Hunt. It was
Stacey
Ogman, Larry Johnson, and George
Ackles.
Ackles. I think they all started at least a game in the NBA.
Kind of like UConn's starting 5 all going in the draft.
That just doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen.
Well, it's going to happen now. It's going to happen again this year. That's why they killed everybody.
That's why they just rolled. So.
Wow. All right. Hey, thanks for coming on the show.
So fun, you guys.
Awesome to have
you
you
guys
on.
both are so talented. Love listening to you guys. You guys are the best.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing you at practice. And if you want to donate any big gifts, how do they get a hold of you?
Oh, man, just call BYU Cougar Club or, just
ask for
contact
Lee.
the Cougar
Tell
Club.
them Dave and Blaine sent you.
Yeah, say, hey, Dave and Blaine said I need to talk to Lee.
You better believe it.
We'll do it.
Then he bring up that 80-yard punt
Don't talk
with
to
the
Robbie.
Patriots.
Talk to Lee.
Anytime, Come on down, we'll do tours, whatever. It's great.
Give
Thanks,
Shelley our best,
I will.
and we're going with Billy Joel on that.
Love it. We better,
It better be
I'm
Billy
going to catch
Joel.
it tonight. I'm in trouble, fellas.
Oh, man.
You got.
Shelley,
If you're right, you're good.
I'm good. Just the fact that I questioned it, though, I might be in trouble.
Lee Johnson.
Thanks, LJ.
Thank you, guys.
Good to see you, brother.
Fantastic to have him here. Great stories.